The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Wednesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. We thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support of this show since day one, and we look forward to continued success with that sponsorship. Scotty is in the building as he is every Wednesday. Mr. Scotty Too Hottie Mincher. How you doing, Scotty?
I'm doing great today. I got the boss gets me ready on Wednesday, so I have a little bit of extra time to sleep in. And when I say the boss, I mean you go back with them longer than I do. That's Mr. Jimmy Sutman, but he gets me ready and all freshened up, cleaned up my facial hair a bit today, so I'm feeling good, feeling re-energized, ready to go today.
Scotty, when you first said the boss gets me ready in the morning, I thought you were listening to Bruce Springsteen in the morning. I was like, okay, you're listening to the boss? All right, let's go. No, it's Jimmy Sutman, the other boss. And then, of course, my mind went to DJ. It's like, he's the boss. A lot of bosses in our lives here on Running Point.
There are a lot of them. I probably should have been more clear, but
I'm just messing with you, Scotty. It's good. We have a great show for you lined up today. We're going to obviously recap all the action last night. We had more baseball playoffs and the sectionals go down, and we also had some softball district semifinals finish up. We have every district championship set now from Division 1 to Division 4, and good news for YSN, we have somebody in every division district championship 1 through 4. So a lot of chances for YSN to get someone into regionals, and to be honest, a lot of really good chances. All of our teams, I think people would consider the favorites in those championship games, but some actually are all YSN matchups. So that's even better. There are some divisions, especially Division 3 in both districts, where we are guaranteed a YSN team into regional. So we're going to be busy in Canton next week for Division 3 regional semifinals, because we're going to have two teams there no matter what happens tomorrow in Division 3. Division 1 and 4 district championships are tonight. We'll obviously preview those as well. But in the middle of the show, Scotty, we have a live interview today, which is kind of cool. We're going to be talking a little bit lacrosse. We've been featuring some of the local lacrosse players this year on the show. And today we're going to have a live interview from Canfield. It is their senior captain in Josie Sipe. She's going to be joining us at 1:30 to talk about their season. They're preparing for a tournament game tonight against Boardman. So it's going to be awesome to talk with her about her senior year, her captain year. She's one of the captains of this team, and her future endeavors. I've been told that she's going to play at Ashland for lacrosse in the next level. So going to be great to talk with her at 1:30. But before we get to that, Scotty, what do you say we recap the action from last night?
Sounds good.
Like I do every day, I'm going to pull up the bracket screen on your screen so you can look at it while we talk about these games. And this is the Northeast District Database, which is the OHSA Northeast district webpage. We're going to start with softball since they were in districts, and we'll go to Division 2 first and talk to you about these district semifinal games. Northeast 1 is where we will start, where we saw Marlington, Scotty. They have won a couple of close games against West Branch, and that trend continues here in the district semifinals. West Branch is close, but could not figure out the ultimate puzzle that is the Marlington Dukes. The Dukes still win this one 5-3. The 1 seed advances to the district championship game.
Yeah. So no real, big surprise there, and it's it'll be interesting to see because we talked about this a lot, and this is a fun part of playoff time. Every step you take forward, things start getting a little harder. So we'll see if they become challenged coming up here, or more challenged, I should say, in this next round, and if there's things they gotta clean up to play a more, not no one's gonna play a perfect game, but the best game they could play.
Scott hurt for West Branch. They scored 13 runs against Marlington on Friday in the regular season finale, and it was 14-13. Marlington got the win. So this game, they pitched better. They held Marlington to 5 runs, but unfortunately for West Branch, they couldn't bring the same offense that they had on Friday either, and they were held to just 3. So we have to say goodbye to West Branch. What an incredible season they had, and they were always fun to cover this year. So so we say goodbye to West Branch. Congratulations to the Warriors on their 500th program victory, and also the 500th career victory to Coach Sis Woods. And they've also officially named that stadium down there in West Branch, Sis Woods Field. So when you start a program and you stay there for their first game was in 87. So let's see, 20, 30, 36. Is that right? Am I doing that math right? 87 to 2023.
I think that is right, Anthony. Math was never my strong suit, but I think you are right there.
I always remind people I'm a Georgia Tech fan, not a Georgia Tech student. There was no way I was going to be an engineering major. Way too many numbers. Way too many numbers. We go into the bottom half of this bracket, and it was another one that did not go well for our YSN teams. Unfortunately, Aurora gets the win 4-0 over Ursuline. Mia Pollock pitched really, really well in this game. She struck out 12 green men, gave everything she had in the circle. They just couldn't get any offense going. The Irish struggled to figure out the pitching staff of Aurora, and Aurora gets to win 4-0. So in this district, at least, no YSN teams in the championship, as Marlington will play Aurora tomorrow night, and that game will be at 4 o'clock. And I believe this one is in Jefferson. They changed the venues yesterday. So Sam showed up to where it was originally scheduled, Sam Torres, and he was like, "There's no one here." So they had to figure out where the heck they switched the games to. But Sam did get there, and we got that Aurora Ursuline game up and running on YSN. I want to give a special shout out to Sam for having a really hectic night and being able to pull through and still hit a home run with this broadcast. That it was a really good softball game. It was wild. There was a lot, from what I hear, there was a lot of energetic environment from the fans. So props to Sam for once again going through that wacky roller coaster of a night and still getting a broadcast up. Let's go into Division 2 Northeast 2, and this is the Hubbard District. Canfield gets the win over NDCL in pretty easy fashion, 9-1, your final score there. Canfield is moving on. Milena Toth, again, another great performance from her. Another home run from her. She's hit 2 in the 2 tournament games they've played. So Milena Toth not only pitching well, but starting to find her power, Scotty, which is dangerous for anyone that's going to have to match up against Canfield in the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough enough going against her when she has her best stuff on the rubber. And on top of that, she's got the power swing going. Man, talk about a dual threat there.
Oof.
What a weapon!
Yeah, that's a big weapon, Scotty. Big weapon, like a 50 caliber rifle weapon. Here we go to the bottom half of the bracket. Mogador Field is able to get the win over Howland. 7-3 is the final score there. Field gets the win. This one was back and forth for the start, and then Field scored a couple of late runs to get enough of a cushion to hold off the Tigers. A Tigers offense that, Scotty, you can see as we go into the scores before. Look at, 15 runs. So going from 15 and then Field holding them to 3. Really, really good pitching performance from Mogador Field. They'll have to do it again if they have any hopes of knocking off Canfield in the district championship.
And they say that, pitching's the name of the game. So it was a great performance by them. But like you said, it's tough sledding ahead. Doesn't get any easier moving forward in the district title game.
And then what we have to do, like we do in tournament time, is the sad part is we do have to say goodbye to Howland and congratulate them on an incredible season. They were fun to watch all year. They have a lot of talent coming back, and they're going to be, I think, just as good next year as they were this year. We can't thank them enough for letting us be a part of their journey this year. So, Howland, congratulations on a great year. We hope to see all you guys back again next year for another fun softball season. We'll go into Division 3 at Northeast 1. And I believe this is a South Range district. It sure is. Poland gets the win over Brookfield 10-3. Scotty, they hit 3 home runs on the day. Mary Brand hit 2 of them. And then Meredith Trevis hits her first career home run for Poland as well as they win 10-3 over Brookfield.
Yeah, and I know you got to be really excited, especially being really the face and voice of you always give not just give girls sports their just due, but you go beyond that, Anthony. And I know you got to be excited about this next matchup here for Poland.
Are you getting ahead of me, Scotty?
And just a little tease.
Just a little tease, Scotty. Just a little tease for him out there. Poland gets the win thanks to their power. South Range gets the win thanks to, everything. Power, pitching, didn't really matter. Julie Stakowitz struck out all but one Pymatuning Valley hitter. And they also matched 2 home runs in the day. Stakowitz hit 1. A hit 1. So what a monstrous performance by South Range. They kind of roll their way into the district championship, Scotty. 17-0. They beat Pymatuning Valley in 5 innings to advance to another district championship game. This is South Range's 3rd in a row. See, I'm always tested on my memory. The older you get, Scotty, the harder it is. They definitely went last year. The year before, they went all the way to state, so they definitely went. But I think the year before that was COVID, so that doesn't count. And then the year before that, they did not make it to regional. So, or did they? Yeah, they beat 3 or 4. It's a lot. South Range is in the district championship a lot. That's the point of the thing. That's what we'll go with. I think it's 3 in a row, but it might be 4. I'm getting old, and I can't remember stuff as well as I used to.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Don't feel bad.
I'm sure there's someone in the comments from South Range listening that can help me out. Come on, guys.
Someone out there.
Someone out there. 19 with this day. I think it's 3. Final answer. 3 in a row.
That's your final answer.
3 in a row, and then this is going to be 9 of the last 13 district championship games that South Range is trying to win. They've won They haven't. Here's the interesting part, Scotty. They've lost in the district semis a couple of times since 2010, but I don't believe. Now I could be wrong about this too, but that's why I'm giving it the precursor. I believe. I don't believe they've lost in a district championship game since 2010. They've been knocked out in the district semifinal rounds a couple of times. Once against Mooney, I think, in 17. And I'm pretty sure Waterloo knocked them out the year after that in 18. And then after that, they obviously won their district streak that they're on right now.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's a quite of impressive streak.
Yeah, you know what? It is because 19 they went and they played that god juggernaut champion team that didn't allow a single run in the whole tournament. So that was 19. 20 there wasn't a softball season because of COVID. 21 they went to state. Last year they went to regionals, lost in the regional semifinals, and then this year they're in their fourth straight. They're looking for their fourth straight district championship. So that is lock, stock, and barrel. We can go with it. They've won 3 in a row. Like I've said, they're going for their 4th in a row. This is their 4th district championship to be in a row. Final answer.
What most excites you now? Just real quickly here with the matchup.
You know what, Scotty? This has been a rivalry that has been bubbling since the start of the NE8 and girls sports. It seems like every year, whether it be basketball or softball, we're talking about it coming down to Poland versus South Range. It kind of did that again this year, except Lakeview was also in that conversation in softball this year as well. Actually came down to Lakeview South Range. It came down to that last game. But Poland and South Range have kind of just been duking it out in girls sports the last 5 years since the start of the NE8. But this is the first year where they're in the same division in tournament time. So this is the first time we get to see them play a third time with even more on the line than a conference. I think Poland would gladly trade the league championship for a district championship, and that would be the ultimate bragging right to say, hey, you guys won the league, but we beat you in districts on your home field. So that's probably what Poland's side is thinking. Who cares about the district, about the conference at this point? Let's go win a district championship. South Range, they feel pretty confident because they've scored 17 runs in 2 games against Katie McDonald and Poland. So they feel like they can swing pretty well against her. They're going to have to be adjustments on the pitching side for Poland. I don't think they're going to be able to allow 8 runs and win the way Julie Stakowicz is pitching right now. I think if Poland wants to win, Katie McDonald has to be on her A game and try to keep South Range to under 4 runs, maybe. I think 5 is that threshold where if you score 5, the way Stack is pitching right now, I don't know if you can beat them if they score 5. I know Poland scored 6 the last time they played, but once again, that was before Julie Stakowicz was on this hot streak that she's on right now, where she's just on a different level than she was even halfway through the season. And she's got this kind of fire in her eyes right now. And I think, like I said, I think 5 runs would be that threshold. I would say, you're probably not going to beat South Range if they score 5. And they've scored 17 in two games against Poland. So definitely some adjustments have to be made to pitch calling and trying to, get this South Range team off balance. One of the things I would do, Scotty, I think we'll talk about that. I'll go into this more tomorrow when we're previewing this matchup. But, Katie McDonald is known for her velocity, and everyone tries to get on it as quickly as possible. Maybe Poland tries to start South Range off with a couple of first pitch off speed pitches to just get them off balance and try to kind of throw them off that way. That's probably what I would do if I was game planning this game as a pitching staff and trying to decide how I was going to attack the South Range hitters. I might throw them some off speed early in the count to get that in their head as quick as possible.
You think because they'd be, geared up.
Everyone's so keyed in on
for the hard stuff.
Yeah, Katie McDonald is known for her velocity. She throws really hard. South Range knows that. They've geared up towards it. They've kind of caught up to her in the last couple games. So I would just say, hey, they're going to be really geared up to her velocity. let's try to throw a little bit off speed early in the count and see if that can throw them off balance, because that's the only way you're going to beat the South Range offense is get them off balance, because they can all swing well. You're not going to throw it by them. They're going to catch up to you eventually. I think even if Sydney Watts went up against them, eventually they catch up to that 68 miles an hour, because they're just one of those teams. 1 through 9, they can swing. They have quick hands. They have really good swings. So I really feel like the way you beat their offense, and some pitchers have done this year to slow them down a bit. Most recently, Emily Rosas in the game 1 against Girard. You just got to hit them with a lot of change of speeds, and you got to make sure you're in their heads with that. So that would be my game plan. South Range's game plan for me would definitely find the spots in their zone where you can attack. There are spots in their lineup that you can absolutely be in attack mode, spots in their lineup where you can't be. So how you navigate that is going to be important, because South Range, the last time they played each other, did not really pitch a great game against Poland. Poland scored 6 runs against them in an 8-6 victory for South Range. So I don't think South Range wants to get in a hit match. I think they'd love to keep this in a pitcher's duel the way that Stakowicz is pitching right now. So I think, they're going to have a good time. It's going to be a fun matchup. We're going to talk about it more tomorrow, though.
And if Poland could get to that number, if they're able to get to 6 like they did in that other game, as good as South Range is offensively, you would think Poland, they would have a real good shot if they could get there. That's obviously a big if.
A lot on the line for two teams that respect the heck out of each other, but don't necessarily like each other all that much. So it's going to be fun to see how those two teams get at it tomorrow. Let's go into baseball. We had some baseball tournament action yesterday in sectionals. We're going to go from softball to baseball on this site, and it's the same deal. You just scroll down past the voting results and go into the baseball districts. And we have a sectional. Oh, I think we already went over this one. Division 2 was yesterday. I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. I think we're going to go into Division 4. We do have a sectional final set between Lake Center Christian and St. Thomas Aquinas, as Aquinas gets the win last night, 12-7 over Chalker. That's a non-YSN matchup, but it's a part of a bracket with a lot of YSN teams, so we definitely have to cover it. Wellsville and St. John was already set, so they're going to play tomorrow night at 5 in the sectional final. But then we scroll to the bottom of this bracket as Matthews has an opponent, as your buddies Lowville got the big win with a lot of offense, 18-14, a football score on the baseball side. Rockets get the win over Wyndham, and Lowville advances to play Matthews tomorrow night at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I was reading about that this morning. Fun game, a slugfest there in Lowville, I believe, taking the lead late in that one in the 6th inning.
McDonald has an opponent as well, as they will play East Canton after the 12-2 victory over Lordstown. So McDonald's going to play East Canton tomorrow night. That sectional final is set. Let's go into the other Division 4 district and see how they turned out in the sectional semifinals. As Southern gets the win, they will play Warren JFK, as Southern gets the 16-0 win over Latonia. The other district semifinal already set. Lisbon and Bristol are going to play tomorrow night at 5. Down here at the bottom, Springfield has an opponent as Badger gets the win, and that was a 2-0 score. Badger and Springfield will play tomorrow night at 5. And then last but not least, Maplewood will play Heartland Christian as the Lions get the 22-0 victory over Sebring. Heartland versus Maplewood tomorrow at 5 o'clock. That game it says TVA, but it should be the higher seeded Heartland. So we'll see where that game's going to be scheduled to be played a little bit later. But those are the sectional final set for Division 4. We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we should be getting ready for Josie Sipe from Canfield Girls Lacrosse. Next on Running Point, brought to you as always by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens. using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
As fine as the eye can see, the finest hardwoods from the finest trees. Made for your home and within your means, Baird Brothers will help fulfill your dreams. Let life and light come shining through in quiet morns. And heavy traffic, too. Find your easy-to-afford fine hardwood floors and doors and more at BairdBrothers.com.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Fall is in the air. The kids are back to school, crowds are cheering for the home team, and Myers Family Insurance is prepped for another crazy Medicare season. Every year there's changes, some big, some small, so it's important to have a conversation to make sure your plan is going to meet your expectations for the coming year. Give our team a call today to schedule your annual review.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance or visit us on the web. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com.
Going from mindful to mindful sometimes requires a helping, healing hand. Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness offers a continuum of mental health and wellness care. At Insight, we're changing the way you receive counseling and wellness services with experienced licensed clinicians and expertly trained wellness staff. With 4 locations in Mahoning and Columbiana County, along with telehealth services, Insight offers clients quick access to care when they need it. Transform your mental health and wellness at Insight Clinical Counseling and Wellness.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig, myself, and to my right, Scotty Mincher. We're patiently waiting. Josie Sipe from Canfield Lacrosse should be joining us any minute now. Scotty, before we get her on, I know we've kind of diving into lacrosse the last 2 years. What are some things that you think about the sport? We'll let her on as soon as you answer this question.
I'm glad you asked that, Anthony, because it's one of those sports that I started getting into probably in my mid to late teens when I was actually reading about Jim Brown and how great of a lacrosse player he was at Syracuse, and I would see the games on ESPN and try to get a grasp of the game and the rules and what was going on. I always just really liked the pace of the game. So that's one of the things that always kind of had me excited and intrigued by the game, and just the shape that a lot of these athletes are in. Really, it's not that I was shocked by it, but it's like, man, the way they go up and down the field, it's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive, and Canfield senior captain, pretty impressive too. Josie Sipe joins us from Canfield. Josie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this.
First thing I want to ask is, being a part of this Canfield program that has been so successful over the years and trying to hold up that tradition and hold up that standard of excellence. I know you lost some pretty good seniors last year, so now you come in as a senior captain. What were some things that you were really focused on this year, trying to uphold the standard that the seniors before you left?
Well, one thing that I can say for certain is all of those seniors that had left last year, I know personally how much I looked up to all of them. And one of my main goals was that I could be that senior this year that the underclassmen could look up to. And then, of course, just locally and statewide, keeping up our reputation as a really strong program, even though we're so new.
What were some things that you really wanted to focus on that you think those seniors did so well leadership-wise that you wanted to make sure that you incorporated into your leadership skills this year?
I would say building confidence in the newer players on the team, like trusting them with the ball, and just making sure that everyone feels included and giving constructive criticism to help your team get better.
You're a captain of this team. What's it mean to you to be a captain and to have that role as someone that is looked at on the field as you are the leader?
It's a pretty big responsibility, but I've come to love it because I can. It's just like, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but I love being able to lead the other girls on the team, and I know that we have a lot of young girls this year, a lot of sophomores, especially on the defense where I play, and they are so open and willing to learn, and I'm glad that I can lead them and help them become great players.
Let's talk about your lacrosse journey. Obviously, it's a growing sport. It's a growing program in Canfield. When did you fall into it, and when was there a point when you really kind of fell in love with the game of lacrosse?
I first started playing in 5th grade. I was on our first middle school team, and we didn't know what we were doing for I think about the first 3 years, and that was when I started falling in love with it in 7th grade. And most of it was those same girls that just graduated last year. They just made the game so much fun, and I joined a club team at that point, and that was when I knew that I wanted to continue playing this sport after high school.
What were some things that made you want to start it? Like back in 5th grade, if you can go back that far in your memory banks, what were some things that, oh man, I want to start lacrosse. I want to try that sport out.
I remember that Mrs. Guerreri, our coach, Coach Guerreri, she came into the cafeteria with her microphone and she was like, if you're interested in playing lacrosse, head over to the Red Steps and we'll give you some information. And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm really bad at softball right now, so this might be something that I could switch to and see if that works out. And it did. So I think I made a good choice.
A career that started on the Red Steps.
Yep, the Red Steps.
Like a great opening line to a story. When you think about some of your first memories of the sport and some of your first memories playing when you were in 5th grade, what comes to mind?
I remember our first tournament that we went to, because we didn't have any local teams to play, so we'd have to drive to Cleveland for these tournaments and play on these really gross grass fields. I just remember being covered like head to toe in mud, and but still loving every second of it just because I got to run around and hang out with my friends.
Now that you can get reflective, you're about to end your high school career, hopefully not too long, because hopefully you have a couple of tournament games before that. But you get a little bit reflective. What are some of your favorite things about being a part of this program and some of your favorite memories now of the high school program and being a Canfield Cardinal for the last 4 years?
One thing that I would say about us as a team is that we bounce back after a big loss, and even after some ties. For example, Kenston, 2 years in a row we've played them, and we tied them in double overtime. Like we literally couldn't complete the game; it had to end in a tie. And my favorite lacrosse memory was we ended up seeing them in playoffs, and we beat them, I think, by 3 or 4 in playoffs. And that's definitely my favorite memory, is like knowing this team and knowing how big of kind of a rivalry it was, and still being able to come out on top despite all the pressure.
All right, and you are not going to be done playing lacrosse either. Your coach tells me that you're going to be playing at the next level. For those people that don't know, why don't you give a shout out to where you'll be continuing your lacrosse career after high school?
I will be playing lacrosse at Ashland University.
All right, what made that decision for you? What were some things about Ashland and their program and their coaching staff that made you want to call it home for the next 4 years?
I had an overnight visit last spring, and I had Coach Simcoe was somewhat involved with my club team, so I had already known her, and I knew how great of a coach she was. And I got to see their team practice and how they interacted with each other, and it really seemed like they were a close group of girls, like a family that I felt like I could already be a part of. And even since, and the dining hall food was really, really good, which surprisingly was a big factor. And the campus was lovely. I loved the campus. And I could really see myself being a part of that program for the next 4 years.
We laugh, but that's a deal breaker, man. If you can't eat there, then I can't go there. What was your favorite meal? And what was the one that pushed it over the edge for the dining
Pizza.
hall? The pizza.
Definitely the pizza. It was really good.
You gotta go with the pizza.
Yeah.
What's your thing that makes you most excited about playing lacrosse at the next level in college?
I would say being able to improve my game and to continue playing the sport and to really become the best player that I possibly can, and maybe even the possibility of winning the conference and hopefully getting a ring.
That's what you're most excited about. What are you most nervous about going to college and being a part of the college athletics atmosphere?
Well, I'm definitely nervous because I know it's going to be a big jump because, all of these girls that I'm going to be playing with and playing against, like they have the same love for the game that I do and are going to have like kind of the same skill set. So I'm just hoping that I'll be able to compete at my highest ability and be able to keep up with everybody else.
As an athlete at that level, you have to have some competitive juices. What else do you get competitive in other than lacrosse?
I get competitive with my sister over about anything under the sun.
My partner Scotty always brings great questions, so I'm gonna toss it to him. He's got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Josie, like what you talked about, like going to the next level now, and a lot of people that you're gonna face off with, girls that you'll face off with, they kind of have that same like maybe drive that you have. So I just wanted to know, what do you do to kind of, or what are your plans if you haven't as much to kind of give you that mental edge? Like, what do you do? Is it reading a book? Is it finding an inspirational quote? Is it listening to music? What do you do to kind of give you pumped up and get that adrenaline flowing and maybe give you a mental edge going into a game?
I'm definitely a music listener when it comes to getting pumped up before games. I listen to a lot of music, a lot of loud music, especially. And then another thing, this is actually a conversation I had with my mom at the beginning of the season about kind of like that mental aspect. And what she told, I was like getting nervous. I was like, I just feel like I'm not doing enough. And what she told me was there's like 3 things that I can control in the field. I can control my work ethic, I can control my leadership, and I can control my character. And that's something that I've been bringing throughout this entire season with me, and I definitely will be bringing it to the next 4 years as well.
As we talk about mentality, I want to talk a little bit about the adversity that you faced. I mean, every athlete that goes through a sport for as long as you have, they have some form of adversity, whether it be big or small. What do you think is the biggest form of adversity you've had to face in your career, and how did you get past it?
I would say not having a freshman year due to COVID was one of my bigger adversities because I was going to be on JV that year, so I was kind of going to get like eased into the program, kind of like find my game, and then see where I would take it next year into my sophomore year. But I didn't have that kind of like transition period my freshman year, and then I just got thrown right onto varsity my sophomore year, and it was a big jump from like literally middle school across. But to overcome that, I looked up to Lily Lacombe, actually one of the seniors who graduated last year. She's been my guide through everything, and she instilled a lot of confidence in me, and I just applied that to my game.
Thinking back to having to navigate that jump between middle school and varsity, which was a pretty big jump in lacrosse, how much do you think that experience is going to help you making the jump from varsity high school to now the college level lacrosse, which is another big jump?
I definitely, I'll definitely be texting Lily Lacombe a lot, asking for her for advice, and then also just knowing that I've done it before and I can do it again and make that same transition.
What are some of the biggest pieces of advice that you've gotten over your career, the most helpful pieces of advice?
One was, again, from my best friend Lily. She told me, like, because I have some self-confidence issues. She told me, like, to just step on the field and to know that you are the best at what you do out there. And that has definitely improved my game and caused me to make the right decisions in those like split-second moments. And it's helped me a lot with my confidence. And I know I've improved since she's told me that.
I've always loved talking to confident athletes because you guys are able to toe the line between that confidence and entitlement role where you're able to be the best that you can be, but you also don't get into that mindset where you feel like you're owed something because of the work you put in. What do you do to balance that? Trying to be confident, trying to have that swagger, that like you said, I'm the best at what I do on this field mentality, with also trying to like keep the humble mentality as well.
Well, by saying that, it definitely holds me accountable. And, when I do make a mistake, I'm like, okay, like we know what we did wrong here, and now we just need to make an adjustment so that I can get back to doing my best and really fulfilling my role on the team. So I would definitely say to balance it, I just kind of take the good with the bad and make sure that I learn from my mistakes as I make them.
We can't let you go without talking about this coaching staff at Canfield and what they've meant to you and how much they've helped you along the way.
Well, Coach Guerreri, she was involved obviously with getting me on the team in middle school. So she's always been a huge part of my lacrosse career. And then she's just done such a great job leading our team, especially since she came back last year for my junior year. She's done so much with this team, especially this year with all of the newer girls that we've had. She's pieced together a team after losing so many seniors, and I don't know anyone else who could do that but her. And then Coach Ashlyn has been my middle school coach since 7th grade. So she really has seen me grow as a player, and I've seen her grow as a coach, and I really wouldn't want anyone else on the sidelines coaching me besides her and Coach G.
The other thing I want to do before we let you go is give you the chance to shout out your support system, the people that are in your corner, the people that are in your life that you wouldn't be where you are without. So I'm going to give you that time to give the shout outs that you want to give.
I definitely would like to shout out my family for driving all over the place for club tournaments and really supporting me, especially in my recruiting process. And then, of course, my coaches for making me the player that I am today. And then, of course, Ashland University for seeing potential in me and giving me a chance to prove myself at the next level. And, of course, my friends for just always being there for me as well.
All right, Josie, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend it with us and letting us get to know you a little bit. We wish you the best of luck in your tournament game tonight against Boardman. If you're a Canfield fan, make sure to get out there and support this girls lacrosse program as they try to make another tournament run. And we wish you also the best of luck in your future career. We wish you the best of luck, and we look forward to talking again real soon.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Josie Sipe from Canfield joining us on Running Point, the senior captain of the girls lacrosse team, looking to make a tournament run. It starts tonight versus Boardman. Lacrosse is 13-6 on the year, I believe 7-4 in the conference. And Scotty, I love talking to senior captains. I just love the leadership. I love talking to them about how they've developed into a leader over the 4 years of their high school career.
Yeah, for sure. And it seems like so many of these young student athletes we interview, and the seniors in particular, they just mature, beyond their years. It seems like everyone we interview, they give such great insightful answers, and they're confident, but they're also humble as well. You talked about like that line between like confidence and entitlement.
It's a thin line, man. It's a thin
Yeah.
line. I'm amazed that so many young athletes at that age are able to tow it because, it's really easy to step over that line and go from, confident in yourself to egotistical almost. And a lot of kids don't do it. A lot of kids just stay on that line. And I'm always impressed by that because I think myself, I don't know about you, Scotty, back when you were a teenager, but myself as a teenager, I'd feel myself, I'd be like, yeah, I bet, I would be so egotistical if I was that good at something. But, these kids are getting better and better. This generation, that young generation of people coming up gets a bad rap because, but man, the more we talk to them, the more I feel like they're mature. They're way more mature than maybe we were when we were teenagers. Like I remember my high school days, and not just myself, but like I'm looking across the South Range class of 2011 and what they were when they were in high school, and I'm like, if we interview those kids now on YSN, I think these interviews would go a lot differently than the interviews are going now. And maybe it's because the kids here are used to being interviewed because YSN's been around for a while, so a lot of these kids are either been interviewed before, they've seen so many player interviews that we've been able to do. But I feel like they're just getting so much more mature and well spoken at this age, especially at the athletics, venue, which is where we get to meet all these kids. But I'm always impressed when we bring on senior captains, senior leaders, and how just well spoken they are, and how much leadership they just kind of ooze. Like you could feel the leadership of Josie without even watching a single lacrosse game. And like if you came into that interview and you never watched lacrosse or never watched her play, in that interview you could just feel her leadership. It's one of those things that I just get so impressed with.
Yeah, me too, definitely. And I'm thinking about, because we're around the same age, Anthony. I got a
Got a
few
few years
years
on me,
on
old man.
you. You made me chuckle a little bit when you talked about how, the older you get, the more that memory is
That
going.
memory starts to go, man. I'm only 31. My memory's already starting to go, man. Imagine Anthony at like 50.
That's
why I play Jeopardy every day.
It's definitely true. I mean, I'm 34, so yeah, I got those couple years on you. But I think about even because we have so much in common. We love sports. We're both wheelies, and we do things our own way. But I think I'll think back before I joined the team at YSN, before I met you, and I'll think back to like my high school days, and I'll be like, man, like if I was really good at something at that time, like I would just be jerk, like I'd be so cocky because I definitely felt like I was immature at
Like
that time.
when
Definitely not like these young boys and girls that we've interviewed.
when I look back on my Facebook memories and I see like my posts about like because I used to make movies because I thought I was going to be like a famous film director that moved out to LA and got into the movie business. So I made movies as a high schooler. So I would see my posts about like, oh, I just finished this awesome script and it's gonna be this amazing epic. I'm looking at myself like, oh my god, Anthony was feeling himself so bad in 2011. Just stop, man. It's embarrassing. But hey, you're young, you learn, you get a lot of life hits you with a lot of humble pie between 16 and 31. I'll tell you that much. So, um,
That's for sure. You get
oh man,
you get
Facebook
like
has
the
Facebook is a
whole
really funny way of just smacking you across the head with with reality. Like, here's what you were 2 years ago. Oh,
yeah. It
oh
makes
man.
Wasn't there that is it Nicki Minaj? I can't remember, but I thought there was a song like Feeling Myself with
Probably. That sounds like a Nicki Minaj type song.
yeah.
Before we get out of here, Scotty, I do want to go back into the baseball districts because we kind of rushed through them to get to Josie's interview. We were in Division 4, and we talked about Heartland's win last night. Basically, a rough shot win, 22-0 over Sebring. But I do want to go into the other brackets to see where the other brackets stand. I want to go in Division 3 because we haven't spent a lot of time in Division 3. The finals are set for tonight as Lakeview is going to host Middlefield Cardinal. This is the 1 seed versus a 13 seed. Cardinal a couple of days ago got the win in a big way. Look at that number, Scotty. 30-0 over Liberty. Ouch.
30 burger. Wow.
That might be the highest run total I've seen this year.
Man, that's brutal. That's a football score.
So they'll hope to bring at least, like a quarter of that into tonight's game against Lakeview. But Lakeview has been dominant this year, and they are having no thoughts about losing in the sectional finals. We go at the bottom of that end of the bracket. It is going to be Perry against Berkshire tonight, a non-YSN matchup, but one we're going to keep an eye on because it will determine the opponent of the winner, which we hope, because Cardinal is not a YSN team yet, we hope that Lakeview is able to win that game. So it will be a game that we keep our eye on between the Perry Pirates and the Berkshire Badgers. We go to the bottom of the bracket. Kirtland is there as the 4 seed. They will host Columbiana, who I think is vastly underseeded. This would be an upset alert in my book, and it's not just because of the fact that Kirtland owes YSN a little bit of retribution after the way that they've been beating our teams in other sports almost consistently. It'd be nice to see one of our teams get the upper hand on Kirtland, but I still think Columbiana is pretty underseeded, and they could rear their ugly head towards the Hornets tonight in Kirtland. At 5 o'clock is the start time for that one. And then we go to the bottom of the bracket. Garrettsville Garfield, the 5 seed tonight. They are going to host Cardinal Mooney. This should be a fun one. Garfield has had a really good season. Finished, I believe, 3rd behind Crestview and LeBray in the MVAC. Mooney, record-wise, does not stack up to Garfield, but schedule-wise, probably stacks up better than Garfield. It's going to be interesting to see how much Mooney's schedule weighs into this game.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about Mooney. I remember, doing an interview back in the day with former head football coach PJ Fecco, and he talked about how they like playing the gauntlet, the schedule that's tough because it gets them prepared. It gets them ready for postseason time. So, like you said, they don't have the record that Garfield does, but doesn't mean that they're not going to be ready to play.
Cardinal Mooney has Logan Boyd, who I interviewed this year for baseball, and he was honestly probably, if I had to say like top 5 interviews this year throughout the whole athletic season, whether it be fall, spring, or winter. I don't know why I did that out of order, but he's definitely in the top 5. It was a great interview. You can go check it out if you missed it, but I'll always bet on that kid and Cardinal Mooney when they're going up against somebody. But Garfield, a very under the radar team that had a very good season in their own right in that really tough MVAC grade tier. Their conference was hard. I'm gonna be interested to see how much the out of conference schedule between Mooney and Garfield kind of weighs into tonight's game in Garrettsville at 5:00. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna go into the other Division 3 district real quick. This is Niles district, which we will see next week at Niles and districts, but this week still at the higher seeds host. South Range going to host East Palestine tonight. The Bulldogs a couple of days ago, that 5-2 win over Brookfield to get into this game. So South Range playing an old ITCL rival in East Palestine. Then it's going to be the 2 seed versus the 17 seed in the sectional final tonight at 5:30 start time at South Range, not 5. So make sure you don't get there expecting a 5:00 first pitch. We go down a little bit, and it's going to be Jackson Milton, the 7 seed against Champion. This should be a really good one, Scotty. I'm looking forward to this. Champion and Jackson Milton, 2 very talented teams. You have players like Joey Fell on one side for Champion, and then you have Aaron Romai and Billy Sloan for Jackson Milton. Big names on both ends. Something's got to give, and that's the nature of tournament time. I'm excited to see how much that bye, and Jackson Milton's probably going to be able to throw their number 1 tonight because of that bye, how much that helps him. I would imagine that Billy Sloan gets to start on the mound for the Blue Jays. We go to the bottom end of the bracket, and it is Crestview. I almost said Columbiana. It is Crestview, the 6 seed against United, this 14 seed. Like Columbiana, I think these EOAC teams, because of the lack of depth in their conference, are a little bit underseeded. I think United is a lot better than a 14 seed, especially their pitching staff. I think they can give Crestview a heck of a run tonight. I'm very interested to see this game and how it plays out in Crestview.
Whether do you see it as more of a slugfest or a
pitcher's duel? Pitcher's duel, hands down. I'm guessing that Nevin Halen is going to get the start for United. And then Fiesel will probably get the start for Crestview. And those two have been less lights out all year. So pitcher's duel would be my bet, Scotty. Pitcher's duel, I would say maybe a 3-2 game. Maybe the offenses get a little bit of rhythm and maybe like 4-3. I would be shocked if this game got over 5 runs by either side. So, over under, I would put it like 8 for that game. That's just my opinion. And then in the bottom half, we have LeBray, who's the 3 seed, the MVAC gray tier champions, and they will play Newton Falls, the 15 seed, who's coming in to this game hot. Man, they've won, I think, 7 of the last 8 games for Newton Falls. LeBray, a little bit of a skid, just a 2-game losing streak. They've lost to Jackson Milton and McDonald to end last week. So I'm interested. Those 2 spectrums, one team coming in pretty hot. I don't want to say LeBray is cold. They're not like on a losing streak, but they have lost 2 in a row. So I'm interested to see how those 2 dynamics go tonight in LeBray.
Yeah, for sure.
Plus, it's the 3rd time seeing them, and you know the old adage in sports, it's almost a cliche at this point, Scotty, that it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I'm sorry, I forgot to put the bracket up. I'm sitting there looking at the bracket. I probably look like an idiot just not looking at the camera, looking at whatever. The bracket was supposed to be on the screen. It was not. That is Anthony's fault. And but those are the Division 3 matchups going on tonight. And then district championships for softball tonight, Scotty. Real quick, we have Division 4 district championships in Jackson Milton as McDonald plays Matthews for the district championship. Matthews looking for their 3rd in a row. And the first 2 have been against Brookfield in Division 4. Obviously, Brookfield moved up to Division 3, and now they'll go up against McDonald tonight in the district championship. Bella O'Brien has been pitching lights out for McDonald this tournament, and we'll see if she can continue that against Matthews, who pitched really well on Monday against Springfield, shut out the Tigers in that 3-0 win. We have Western Reserve playing Shocker in Badger for another Division IV district championship. Western Reserve, the 1 seed, trying to earn that 1 seed by winning a district championship. And then in Division I, Scotty, we have Fitch playing Minter down at Youngstown State University.
Yeah, you think that's gonna be a great one? The ladder. All these matchups I'm excited about, but
I think, honestly, Scotty, I think Fitch rolls in that matchup with Minter. I think it was clear when that bracket came out that a lot of teams did not want to play Fitch in the district, and that made the other districts pretty dang competitive. But I think that left Fitch with a pretty, if Fitch just goes and takes care of business, it should be a, get in, get out situation. Never want to take someone for granted in softball because it's such a fickle sport. We've talked about that a lot. But I think if Fitch just goes in with and plays Fitch softball, they should cruise in this one.
So you think it could be a case where they win by you don't necessarily think a 30 burger, but
No. I would say they didn't blow out. They usually, I'm gonna say around 12-0.
Okay.
Would be my prediction, I guess. I just think it's gonna be a run rule victory for Fitch. I would not be shocked at all if they ran right through Minter and went into regionals next week, which will also be at YSU. So Fitch, unlike our other teams, will not have to travel that far to play in their regional games.
Yeah, so that's another advantage.
That's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to not have to travel, but there are teams in other regions that don't have to travel that far. It's just luck of the proverbial draw. We are a little bit over time, but that's okay because we have nothing, no show at 2 to bump up. So we're going to, though, say goodbye to today's show. Scotty, thank you as always for coming on. You do a great job. We had a live interview today, which is always exciting, and you always bring great questions to that. So thank you for that and helping me out with Josie's interview. And also want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in today. We're going to be back tomorrow with more softball interviews. We have plenty in the can. I think we might go with someone that is playing tomorrow if we can swing that. And we'll see you tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock on Running Point. As always, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Make sure to go out softball or baseball today. There's a lot on the line. Sectional championships in baseball.